Good evening, everyone. I see that it is just after 6 o'clock, so I am going to get started with this collab. Thank you guys for joining in the session. I'm glad to see some names that I recognize from previous modules and other semesters. So a very warm welcome back to all the familiar names. And yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I will be introducing myself shortly. For everybody who's also listening to the recording, a very warm welcome to you to this first session of BMNG 7321. So this is business management 3A. So we look at strategic management. We look at how businesses need to focus on having strategic direction. We focus on some of their mission statements, their vision statements, and how they can put those into place to actually reach their objectives. So it's quite a fun module. I'll speak a little bit more about that as well. So like I say, a very, very warm welcome to all of you. Who is this name before, or the name behind the voice? So I've welcomed you guys all. So who is this? Sometimes it's always hard to picture a face, but there I tried to find a recent photo of myself and put it up here so that you can all have a little image of myself. You would have noticed that my name is Kim van Rooyen. Like I said, a lot of you guys on my class list, I do recognize your name, so it's lovely to have you again in my group. And those of you who are meeting me for the first time, it is lovely to meet you as well. So I live in Port Elizabeth, in the windy city, the cold city, the city without water maybe. But yeah, I live there with my family. I've got 3 small children. They keep me busy as well. So if I'm not busy with VC work, then my children sure do keep me busy as well. I always tell my students that they can email me. It's the quickest way to get hold of me. So you can either send me a message on the VC Learn system, that's also quick and easy, or you can send me an email. My email address is kvanrooyen@varsitycollege.co.za. Okay, so either way is acceptable for you guys to contact me. And I know that in this distance space, it's almost a strange place to be because we don't see each other face to face. But I just want you guys to encourage you guys to really, use my email address or the messaging system to contact me. Okay, so I try my best to respond as quickly as possible, in as much detail as possible. And I always tell the students that no question is silly or too small, or I'm not that type of person or that type of OT that's going to laugh at a question or think, oh my goodness, why are you asking me such a ridiculous question? I really will try as far as I can in my own capacity to help, and if I can't help, then I promise you I will put you in touch with the right person, whether it's an admin query or an assessment query or results or whatever. So as far as possible, I will always try and respond to the emails and help you as far as possible. So I always say to the students, my virtual door is always open. Okay, so email me, contact me if you've got questions. This is a 3rd-year module. It is quite a tough module. So if there is something that you don't understand, please do use the messaging system and contact me, and then we can correspond like that. Okay. Yeah, so that's just a little bit more about me. So let's speak about this module. Let's speak about business management 3A. What does it entail? What is expected from you? What are you going to be able to learn from here? What should you have at this stage? Okay, so before I go on, let me just quickly answer that question. Hi, Alicia. Welcome to the group. So I haven't created a WhatsApp group. I don't have any of the students' numbers to create one. But if one of you guys want to create one, you're welcome to send me the link, and I will post it up for everybody else in the group to join. So I know some students do it already here in class time, and I can always post the link. This is quite a big group, so there are a lot of students in the group. So if you would like to just send me an email afterwards, you can maybe create the group and then send me the link. Thank you so much, Stephanie. That is wonderful. Thank you for volunteering. And I know, Stephanie, I've chatted to you as well quite a bit, so you are welcome to sort of liaise with me on behalf of the class as well. So if there's an issue and you want to contact me urgently, then you're welcome to do that as well. So then I will just share that link that Stephanie will create. So thanks again, you two ladies, for initiating that. And I will post it up onto the group, onto VC Learn, and then everybody can just access that link. That's awesome. Thank you. So moving forward, let's have a look at this module, what is expected of you, how you're going to orientate yourself around the module. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, you should have had access to the module manual. So you should have at least downloaded the module manual. Both the assignments are also available already on student materials. There's a semester planner in the more resources folder as well. Okay, so let's just quickly pause then. Just quickly, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up. Have you guys looked at your module guide? Have you maybe downloaded the first assignment yet? Just quickly give me a feeling of where you're at in terms of the admin of what you have with everything. Okay, so I'm seeing quite a few thumbs up coming up, so we'll just check. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. You are all on the ball. That's wonderful. Thank you, Sitandiwe, as well for that. Okay, that's fabulous, guys. So at this stage, if you're listening to the recording, you need to have at least downloaded the module guide, had a look at the semester planner, had a look around the first assignment. So just started orientating yourself around the assignment and textbook. So you should have at least purchased the textbook at this stage. Remember, we are looking at the strategic management textbook. It's like a little grayish, I always say like a gray, browny gray textbook, strategic management in South Africa. So that is the textbook that we use. And you will see if you guys go on to do business, it's like a white gray. I can put my camera on to show you guys as well if you want to see it. Our lights are coming on at 6 o'clock, so it's a little bit dark in my little room here, but I'm going to put my camera on now just to show you guys. It just takes a while just to show. So just wait a few seconds and then you will be able to check it. So I just want to show you the textbook, guys. If you don't have it yet, don't panic. There is still time to get it. Sorry, oh, there we go. I can see. Can you guys see it, hey? I can move it more. So this is the textbook you should be looking at. Strategic Management Towards a Sustainable Strategies in South Africa. It is written by Fun Art, and we work with the 4th edition. If you have the 3rd edition, there's a little bit that is different, so try your very best to get the 4th edition if at all possible. Okay, so all of our content comes from this textbook. We will work with it for semester 3A and then semester 3B. So those of you that go on and continue with Business Management 3B, you use the same textbook. Okay, so you should at this stage have the textbook, the module guide, and maybe had a look at the first assignment as well. Remember that there are going to be 2 assignments. There's ICE tasks. So the ICE tasks, again, are in your more resources folder. They are also on the semester planner. So you can start working on those ICE tasks in the meantime if you have a gap here or there. As long as all the ICE tasks are completed, usually it's around about the 23rd of October. So we haven't got the official date as yet. But I always say around about the 23rd, 26th of October, sort of, that's when the ICE marks need to be in. And then obviously there is an exam. The exam for this module is a written exam. So you go onto a campus to write the exam. So it's a new sort of thing for a lot of the students as well when it comes to a theory module. But I promise, ladies and gents, we will prepare thoroughly for that. There's a lot of work that we will put in before we even approach that exam as well. So don't panic about that yet. Just bear in mind that you will be writing your exam as a sit-down exam at the campus or the sort of venue that you would have chosen when you have registered. Okay. So Stephanie, I see you've got some questions on the assignment. We will hopefully get to those in the end as well. Okay, so let's move on then. So just a little bit of admin. You guys have probably heard this so many times, but just remember, guys, try and as far as possible come to class, listen, join in to the class links if you can. If you can't, please make sure that you are listening to the recordings. They are very valuable. There's a lot of information that is shared during the class time. So I do understand life happens. We've families, work commitments. A lot of the students live in different world, so we do understand that. But then obviously just try and listen to the recordings, and just know then that even though you aren't in the class where there is someone to answer your questions, you can still email those questions through as on time. Okay. Look at your referencing. I haven't had a problem as yet with any of my third year students, but just to remind you guys that obviously, you know, this is an academic institution, so you need to be referencing correctly. You need to be always upholding a high standard of academic integrity. Okay, so let's look at some of these dates. A lot of you would have jotted these dates down as well. At this stage, I doubt that they will change, but I always just say subject to change because you never know when the pairs will change. But at this stage, I'm sure that these dates are pretty set in stone. Assignment 1 due 14th of September, so we've got just less than a month to complete assignment 1, then assignment 2 in October, and pretty much a month later you will then be writing your exam. So nicely spread out, nothing too on top of each other for this module, but I know that there's other modules that fill up all the gaps as well. So those are the 3 important dates that you need to be diarising. Assignment 1, 14th of September, 20th of October for assignment 2, and then your written exam. So if any of you are working, that's the date that you will definitely be needing to put in for leave so that you can go and write. You'll need a day before to study, but at least on that day, you will also need to be putting in some leave time for that as well. Okay. So guys, I'm just going to pause there for 2 or 3 minutes. If there's any questions on the admin side of the module, on how the module is going to run, on just how things work with the module, then feel free to just send me a message or put your microphone on for now. After that, I'm going to then just open up another slideshow, and I'm just briefly going to talk about the first assessment. But I'll just leave it for 2 minutes just to check if there are any questions with regards to you know, the actual running of the module and the admin side of things. Maybe some students don't have access to VC Learn, or are there any other problems with regards to the admin side, I always say. So we'll just, while you guys are typing those up, if you have any questions, I'm just going to switch slides so that we can go into the first assignment. So just give me a moment just to do that. So I'm going to take the silence that everybody is happy with the admin side of how things are working, and that you're all content with that as well. So you'll see on the screen, ladies and gents, is just the actual PDF document, just your actual assignment. Remember, we've got another session next week where we will unpack it in more detail, so I don't want to overburden you with too much information for this assignment. I just want to give you an overview of what is expected for this assignment, okay? So you can download it from this screen, but some of you will have already downloaded it, which is fabulous. So I'm just going to get to the questions. You know the referencing rubric, okay? And here I want to spend, so I have got a document with some page numbers and things that I will share with you guys as well. I just want to get to the instructions and just give you an overview of what the project is, okay? So on a third year level, this project is a bit different to something that you would have experienced last year. So you remember last year your modules were questions and answers, and then perhaps there was a POE in between here. So how it works on third year level for this semester and the following semester is you are going to be writing a report. So you are going to pretend that you are a consultant for a specific organization, and you need to write a report on certain elements of the organization. So all of your assignments that you will be done are written in a report format, okay? So it's a very specific format that we're looking for. It's a formal format, so it's not just an essay, it's longer than an essay. There's a lot more information in the report than just a standard essay, okay? So the first part of our instruction is to understand that we are going to be writing a report. For this assignment and for the next one, we speak about naked insurance, okay? So we'll go into detail about what naked insurance is, but our whole assignment is based around this insurance company, okay? So your report that you are writing is addressed to Naked's board of directors, and you need to sort of advise them on any changes that need to be made. You need to advise them on the strategies that they have in place. And we are going to look at three main sections of this report that they are seeking guidance from you on, okay? So they give us a word limit. It's quite a tight word limit, so you might find that you're going a little bit over the word limit. That's okay. So don't go too much over, but if you go a few hundred words over the word limit, then it's okay. I have seen in the past that students battle to fit all the information into that word limit. So don't go too much over, but you know, if you do need a few hundred words extra or so, then that is acceptable. Your report is going to be structured in the following way. So the first thing that you're going to do is a cover page, okay? The cover page will generally have your name, your student number on it, and the date. So those are the three most important things on the cover page. Then you will have a paragraph that says, this is a report written for Naked Insurance, or this report is addressed to the board of directors of Naked Insurance. So just a brief one-liner to say, what is this report about and who is it for? So it doesn't have to be a long essay. It just needs to say, who is this report for? What is the purpose of this report that you have now generated? And then you write an introduction. So generally your introduction is between 200 and 300 words, 250 words, and you're just going to generally introduce the topics that you're going to be speaking about. So you'll see the three questions that we're going to look at, and you are going to just introduce those three questions. So often we have definitions in our introduction. We will often have explanations, things that we are explaining, like I say, definitions in the report that we have. Then the body of your report is going to answer the three questions. And then you're going to have a brief summary, a brief conclusion of the report. Okay, so that's the structure of how you are going to set it up. So it works the same. So you've got your cover page, introduction, body, which answers the three questions. We'll unpack those three questions. And then the conclusion. These two, so if you look at number 5 and number 6, obviously references will always be there. So you'll always have references at the end of your assignment that you've used. So a full-on reference list in alphabetical order, and then appendices. This is optional, okay? So you will see on the rubric there is no score, there is no mark awarded for any appendix that you have uploaded. The reason why we would put an appendix in is if you need to support your answer in some way, then you will have the appendix in there to show a graph or statistics to support something that you have said in your report, okay? So if you don't have any appendices, it is okay. You're not going to lose marks. But if you have them, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to get extra marks. They are just there to support what you have said. So if you need an appendix to support what you have said in the report, then those marks will be awarded for what is written in the report. So I hope that makes sense when it comes to the actual appendix. And a lot of students say, do I need them, Kim? You know, and the answer is really is up to you. If you feel it's going to support your information, by all means put them in. They are interesting for us to have, but like I say, you're not going to lose any marks if you don't have, and you're not going to gain any extra marks if you do have them in there. So that's just how it is structured. as an official document. Remember, you're going to reference it. You're going to write it as a specific report addressed to the CEO of Naked. Okay, so that's just the general structure of it, and you will see assignment 2 works the same. So assignment 2 is structured in a very similar way. Then the next 5 or 6 pages of this document, I'm not going to read through them all, goes on to explain to us what Naked is. So they give us a nice case study on Naked Insurance, okay? So I always tell the students that this is a good starting point. It's a good starting point to read through the case study. So take your highlighters, highlight where you need to highlight, underline important phrases or important things, read through the case study a couple of times, and draw summaries, draw notes from the case study, okay? But you're also going to need to actually go and visit the website. So make sure before you start your assignment that you have actually Googled Naked Insurance, that you've had a look through their homepage, that you've had a look at the products that are on offer through Naked Insurance, okay? Because that way it gives you a better idea of how you can actually go about answering the questions. So read through Naked Insurance, read through the case study in detail. A lot of the students say, Kim, you know, I've never really even heard of Naked Insurance. What is it? And just in a nutshell, Naked Insurance is an insurance organization that uses artificial intelligence to try and get you the best possible insurance out there. Okay, so they say they're going to cut out the middleman, and they're going to try and cut out all the other nonsense that you have, and they're going to find you the best value for money. Okay, so they started off as a car insurance broker, and then they branched out into many other insurance options. So now they do short-term insurances, building insurances, contents of houses, liability cover. So they do a whole lot of other insurances as well. Okay, and then they go on to explain how they do business, what is their business model, what have they built themselves on, so what do they value, what is foundations that they have laid that makes them good and that makes them, you know, successful if they are. So we need to check that we understand Naked, and we need to make sure that we are looking at Naked Insurance's website as well, okay? Because we're going to base all our answers on Naked Insurance. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the questions, and then I'm going to just give you some starting points of how to approach these questions as well. So I'm just going to stop here and switch over. So just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. So again, I will upload this document. I haven't uploaded it into more resources yet, but I will as soon as this collab is finished, because you'll see that the starting, the page numbers as references are on this document as well. So for those of you who haven't done it, okay. So the first question that they are looking at is for 30 marks, we are going to look at the organization's perspective. So the theory that we are basing this question on is outside in perspective or inside out perspective. So we've got these two options in business management. And for those of you who have read through chapter 1 already, you will have an idea of what this actually means, okay? So if we focus just in brief, if we look at an outside in perspective, we look at a perspective that focuses on looking on the outside, looking at the market around them. So typically, an organization that will focus on outside in will look for opportunities around them in the surrounding environment. So they will try and find opportunities in the competitive market in which they find themselves in. Okay, so that's the first point that we look at. Then we look at inside out. Okay, so when we speak about inside out, it is almost the opposite to that. So we look at inside out, we are looking from ourselves and we are looking at what are our strengths? What can we do? What are our values? What are our unique capabilities that we then can portray to the external environment to make us better. So what are our internal capabilities inside that we can utilize and use to gain competitive advantage? So there's just two different perspectives that organizations can focus on. And your job for this question is to try and identify which perspective do you think Naked Insurance is adopting. So which one are they using? So start off with an introduction about what each of these perspectives are. So briefly define inside out, briefly define outside in perspectives. So look at the differences between these two perspectives. So start off with your answer as an introduction. What is outside in? What is inside out? What are the differences between the two? Underneath that, then say, which one is Naked using? So you would say, Naked is following an inside out perspective, and then say why. Justify your answer. Find reason in the case study on the website as why you say they are following a specific perspective. So it's very, very important, and I did write it here as well, so I'll just highlight it. You need to support your answer, okay? So most of your marks for this question is going to come in. How do you support your answer? So if you tell me outside in, can you back it up? Do you have enough evidence to back up that it is outside in? And does your answer match what you are saying? So is it really supported by outside in or inside out? And then the third part is the conclusion, where you are going to make recommendations towards this CEO. Remember, you are writing this for the board of directors. So the last part of your answer here is going to be recommend. Because of, and you list the reason. So what can they do to improve their strategic approach and their strategic link in the market? So I always tell the students this question is broken up into three different parts. First part, theory, defining the concepts, describing the concepts. Secondly, the application. Which one do you think is Naked Insurance's using and why? So apply, application. And then third, always conclude by the recommendations. So make your conclusions, draw up your conclusions, and then make any recommendations that you may need for that question. So as a starting point, start reading if you haven't yet on page 27 in the textbook, and start doing some research on that. Okay, so that's question one, ladies and gents. I'm going to give you an overview on question two. Obviously, just to remind you guys, I do realize that some of you haven't looked at the assignment yet, so I'm just giving you an overview of what is expected. We will unpack it in great more detail as well when we have a session next week. This is just an overview of what is expected of you. So please, at any point, let me know, send me a message, or type it up here if something is going over your head. It might sound a little bit, whew, Kim, what are you doing? Because it's new to you. But once you process it all and come and listen to the recording again, I'm hoping that it will sink in a little bit more. So it's normal if it's starting to sound a little bit, oh, Kim, this is like a mountain. How am I going to climb it? I promise you, we will climb it together and you will be fine. You will get to the top. Okay. So question two, we look at the mission statement. So here we're going to focus purely on the mission statement. So we skip a chapter, we move all the way to learning unit 3, which is also chapter 3, and we start analyzing the mission statement. Okay, so this is quite an easy question if you just keep your head about you as well. Okay, so you first and foremost need to go and find out what is Naked Insurance's mission statement. So what is the mission statement? And then we're going to analyze it. So let's break our question up into the little bits that we can bite off and chew. First and foremost, a theoretical introduction. Provide a brief introduction about what a mission statement is and what is its purpose. So define mission statement, describe what it is used for. So a little bit of theory. Define mission statement. Why do we have mission statements in the business? What are they used for? What is the purpose of a mission statement? So a theoretical introduction around the concept of mission statements. And then we jump into the application. Now, your job here is to analyze Naked's mission statement by applying the questions in the textbook. So the questions you will find on page 86 and 87. So you find the questions on those pages that you have there, okay? There are 5 questions, so you're going to base it on 5 different questions, and you're going to take each question and apply it to Naked. So, for example, the first question says, why is this organization in business? So a good mission statement must answer that question. So you're going to look at Naked's mission statement and you're going to say, does that mission statement answer the question? Yes or no? So then you could say, let's say, for example, one of the first step in deciding whether a mission statement is good or not is to ask ourselves, does the mission statement answer the question, why is the organization in business? It is clear from Naked's mission statement that why they are in business. We can see from the mission statement their purpose of being in business. So they tick that first box. They answer the first question. And you go about and you apply each of those 5 questions for them. So a good mission statement will be able to answer each one of those 5 questions. And your job as a strategic analysis is to go and look at those 5 questions and see which ones are applicable to Naked's mission statement or not. Okay, and then obviously from that you can draw your conclusions. So from that you can recommend any changes Naked needs to make. Is their mission statement impactful? How should they change it? Does it have a good impact on it? Can they improve it? Okay, and then the final thing is, if it needs to change completely, go and develop a mission statement which would be better suited for the organization. So if their mission statement is not answering all those questions, go and develop one, go and alternate that one that you would that they have, go and change it, and then rewrite it to actually suit all those questions that you do have. So a starting point for question 2, looking at page 86 and 87, writing the theory around describing what a mission statement is, what it is used for, and then you're going to go and unpack those 5 questions. So in other words, apply each one of those 5 questions to Naked, remembering that you're going to ask yourself, does Naked's mission statement answer each one of those questions? And then from that, you're going to analyze your findings. Do you think the mission statement was good? Can they improve it? Rewrite it if you need to rewrite it. How can they be more impactful? Okay. And that is question 2. Again, for 30 marks. So remember, all our questions count 30 marks, and then the final 10 marks are for the structure. Okay. So let's not waste any time. Let's move on then to question 3. Please, guys, if you do have questions, let me know. Let me just quickly move my slide down a little bit. Okie dokes, yeah. So question 3, you can see, is rather a big question, a lot of information as well around it. And again, the structure works the same. So the way the format is going to work, it is exactly the same as what we have seen in the past, okay? So question 3, they're speaking about 2 very important concepts, shared value and inclusive business, okay? So again, we're working from chapter 2, so we move a little bit backwards in our textbook, and we're looking at the concepts of shared value and inclusive business. So step 1, define shared value, define inclusive business. What is the purpose of each of these? So a definition and a purpose. So always remember step one, theory. Theory. So describe shared value, describe inclusive business. Remember over here you can use extra resources. It doesn't always have to be from your textbook. There's a lot of information on these two concepts as well. So describe them. In your descriptions, explain why business would want to aim for shared value and inclusive business. So why would they want to strive for this? What is this mindset that they want to try and have to be considered as an organization that has shared value and inclusive business as well? So you need to elaborate on the concepts, explain them in detail, and then, of course, you know it, the second part is to apply. So the second part is to evaluate the extent to which Naked is implementing shared value and inclusive business. Okay, so how is Naked Insurance? Can they consider themselves an organization that is aiming for shared value and that strives for inclusive business? Is their mission and their vision and the objectives and the aim that they do, is it geared towards obtaining shared value and inclusive business? What is evident that they are doing this? And if they are not, if you say that they are lacking it, what can they do to improve? So if your feeling is that they are not pursuing shared value and inclusive business sufficiently, then you need to propose ways in which Naked can improve on their approach. How can they incorporate more shared business and shared value and within their business strategies, within their approaches? Okay, do they need to do something different? Do they need to have a re-look at their approaches? Do they need to change something around in order to be more successful and to strengthen their strategy? Or are they hitting the nail on the head when it comes to shared value and inclusive business? So before you can answer that, you need to understand what shared value and what inclusive business is. So you need to really unpack those concepts and understand them. And then, like I say, it is then that you can go and apply them and answer the question that says, is Naked Insurance, are they doing something? Is their approach pursuing shared value and inclusive business or not? Okay. And in a nutshell, that is what the assignment is going to contain. That is the assignment that you would do. Remember, after this, you would have your conclusion once again, and you would submit it via VC Learn. So I know I just gave you a brief overview of the assignment. I didn't want to waste too much time sort of going, because I know that some of you are only downloading it now and looking at it now. But as a starting point, go and just make these notes and start looking through the assignment and start, gathering your information for them as well. So that really is all from my side tonight. I'll obviously stay online if there are any questions, so you're welcome to ask any questions. If there's no questions, remember we do have a session next week. So our session next week is again, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's next Thursday as well. And then we will be looking at it in more detail as well. So by then you should have perhaps downloaded the assignment properly and actually started making notes, and we can unpack these concepts in a little bit more detail. So I haven't put this document in more resources yet, but I will go and do it as soon as this collab is finished. Thanks everyone for joining. If you've got a question, stay online. If not, I will see you all next week again. And please remember that you can also email me if you have anything. Oh yes, I'm looking at September. Let me just quickly check. Yes, you're right. 6 o'clock, the 23rd of August. Thank you, Stephanie. I see it is on the calendar. Yeah. I was looking at September the 21st. Okay, no problems. I will share that class link with everyone as well. Please stay on the line if you've got questions. For everybody else, we will see you next week for a little bit more deep detail on the assignment as well. I hope this was somewhat helpful, and I hope that it could be a starting point for you guys as well.